Right then, Tottenham faithful, steady yourselves because today's news is one of those that shakes up the transfer market and gets our hopes up for the season. A 20-year-old midfielder is on our radar, the lad's absolutely flying at his Belgian club, and the situation's got proper interesting with an Italian giant entering the frame in a way that nobody expected. This could be the missing piece to solve our creative problem in midfield, but there are crucial details that could either smooth the path or complicate everything. Stick around till the end and you'll understand why this transfer is so strategic. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like because today we've got exclusive content. Retry. First things first, Alexander Stankovic is a highly rated Serbian international who's been putting in stellar performances for Club Brugge this season. And yes, Tottenham are interested. Very interested. But here's where it gets complicated. We're not alone in this race. Newcastle United are also circling, and Inter Milan, the club that sold him to Bruges in the first place, have a buyback clause that's about to become extremely relevant. According to Gazzetta Dello Sport, Inter have a €23 million buyback clause that's roughly £20.3 million, which they can trigger in the summer of 2026. That figure rises to €25 million, £22 million, if they wait until the summer of 2027. Now, why does this matter to us? Because if we want Stankovic in January or next summer, we're potentially going to have to negotiate with Inter, not just Bruges. Let's talk about the football side of this. Many of you have pointed out, and the stats back this up, that our Rodrigo Bentancur and Joao Palhinha double pivot, while solid defensively, has been costing us creatively in midfield. If you are passionate about Tottenham, show your support by subscribing and helping us hit 900 subscribers. Let's make this channel the ultimate Spurs hub. We need someone who can add that spark, that progressive passing, that ability to break lines and create chances. Stankovic fits that profile perfectly. He's versatile, technically gifted, and at 20 years old, he's exactly the kind of young talent that fits our recruitment strategy. The club is looking at a potential January move to solve this creative problem, and Stankovic is high on the list of targets. Here's where this gets really interesting, and it's something Tuttosport has highlighted brilliantly. Inter are currently evaluating Hakan Çalhanoğlu's future. The Turkish midfielder is getting older, and they're thinking about succession planning. Stankovic could be an option to replace him next summer. That makes perfect sense from their perspective. But and this is the crucial bit, Tuttosport is questioning whether Inter actually needs Stankovic right now. They suggest that even if Inter activate the buyback clause, the young Serbian wouldn't be a regular starter for them immediately. So what could Inter do instead? Buy him back for £20 million and immediately flip him to us or Newcastle for a significant profit. It's a clever piece of business if they can pull it off, essentially using their buyback clause as a way to control his future and make money in the process. According to Tuttosport, Spurs and Newcastle are above all in the race for Stankovic. That means we're the front runners among the clubs seriously pursuing him right now. The question is, do we move in January and try to negotiate directly with Bruges, potentially cutting Inter out of the equation? Or do we wait until summer and risk having to deal with Inter buyback clause? January could be the smarter move here. Get him now, integrate him into Thomas' system for the second half of the season, and avoid the complication of Inter's involvement. But there's also the risk that Bruges won't want to sell mid-season, especially with their Champions League campaign ongoing. Let's talk numbers. If Inter buy him back for £20 million, what would they want from us? Probably £30 to £35 million at minimum to make it worth their while. That's the profit margin they'd be looking at. If we can negotiate directly with Bruges now, we might be able to get him for somewhere between £25 to £30 million, potentially saving ourselves money and avoiding Inter as the middleman. The financial terms, contract length, and structure of the deal will be absolutely crucial here. This is where Daniel Levy negotiation skills will be tested. From what I'm hearing through my sources, Tottenham recruitment team is monitoring this situation very closely. They're aware of the buyback clause, they know Newcastle are interested, and they're evaluating the best time to make their move. January is definitely being considered, but it depends on several factors: Stankovic's willingness to move mid-season, Brugge asking price, and whether we can get the deal done without triggering a bidding war with Newcastle or waiting for Inter to get involved. One thing is clear, this is a player we genuinely want, and the club sees him as a solution to our midfield creativity issues. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you as both an analyst and a Spurs fan. This is exactly the type of signing we should be making right now. We've watched this team week in and week out, and while Bentancur and Palhinha give us steel and defensive security, we're crying out for someone who can unlock defenses with a killer pass or drive forward with the ball at their feet. Stankovic isn't just another name on a list. He's 20 years old, performing in the Champions League, and showing the kind of technical quality and vision that fits perfectly into Thomas' philosophy. This is the profile that excites me: young, hungry, talented, and available at a price that won't break the bank. We've seen what happens when we invest in young talent early. Look at how Destiny Udogie and Mickey van der Ven transformed our defense. Stankovic could do the same for our midfield. Here's where I think we need to be brave. Yes, January is always tricky. Clubs don't want to sell mid-season, prices are inflated, and integration takes time. But waiting until summer opens up a can of worms with Inter's buyback clause. Do we really want to deal with Inter as middlemen, potentially paying an extra £5 to £10 million just because they're playing the market? My view? We should push hard in January. Get an offer on the table that makes Bruges think twice. Offer them £28 to £30 million, structure it well with add-ons, and get this done before Inter can complicate matters. Yes, it might cost us a bit more than waiting, but we get 6 months of integration, we solve a pressing tactical problem now, and we avoid a potential bidding war in the summer. That's smart business in my book. Let's be real about the competition here. Newcastle have serious financial muscle, they're building an ambitious project, and they need midfield reinforcements just as badly as we do. If we hesitate, if we try to play the waiting game, Eddie Howe could swoop in and get this deal done while we're still deliberating. I don't say this to create panic, but as Spurs fans, we've seen this movie before. We've watched targets slip away because we didn't act decisively. Christian Eriksen's departure left a creative void we still haven't properly filled. We can't afford to let another midfield opportunity pass us by, especially when the player profile is this perfect for what we need. This is where the club needs to show ambition and intent. There's another angle here that I think is crucial. Stankovic is exactly the kind of player who thrives under Thomas Frank. He's technically confident, he's comfortable on the ball under pressure, and he has the vision to play quick, incisive passes in tight spaces. But beyond the tactical fit, there's the developmental aspect. At 20, he's at the perfect age to come in, learn from experienced pros like Bentancur, and grow into a key player over the next 3 to 4 years. This isn't a panic buy or a short-term fix, this is strategic squad building. This is how you create sustained success. And honestly, as a fan who's been desperate to see us build something special, these are the moves that give me genuine optimism about our future. The big takeaway here is that transfer negotiations in modern football are rarely straightforward. Inter Milan buyback clause adds a fascinating layer of complexity to this deal. They could simply be monitoring Stankovic's development with the intention of bringing him back, or they could be planning a flip buy low, sell high. Classic transfer market strategy. For Tottenham, the smart play might be to act decisively in January if the opportunity presents itself. Waiting until summer could mean dealing with Inter as intermediaries and potentially paying more for the privilege. Stankovic represents exactly what we need: young, talented, creative, and with room to grow under Thomas Frank's system. Whether we can get this deal done before Inter complicates matters remains to be seen. But from where I'm sitting, this is a risk worth taking and a player worth fighting for. Now I want to hear from you. Should Tottenham push hard for Stankovic in January to avoid Inter's buyback complications, or should we be looking at other midfield targets entirely? And do you think the Newcastle competition should force our hand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay on top of all the latest Tottenham transfer news and exclusive updates like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you the fastest, most reliable Spurs news straight to your feed. Here we go, and COYS.